the scene here at Beaver Stadium in State College, Pennsylvania. Look at that. A whiteout is what they prescribed against Ohio State tonight. There are 20,000 students wearing white shirts. In other words, we're going to white out the Buckeyes this evening.
The look of the landscape never changed. But for a few years, it felt wrong. As if a cornerstone of Pennsylvania's personality had gone missing. But head into Happy Valley now. There's pride once again in this paradise, a solid sense of identity.
We are
Penn State.
This is who we are, where we belong. Undefeated and in the Big Ten title picture.
This is the way Penn State football should be. Other teams are really going to have to bring their best against us to stop us.
Across the border, a Buckeye state of stability. Always tough, always talented. And tonight, a test of Penn State's restored self-image.
About to go to war, man. You don't look at nothing but what's in front of you.
Are these Nittany Lions for real? Awaiting them at Beaver Stadium is the best way to find out.
ESPN's College Football Prime Time, presented by Polaroid. Tonight, the 6th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes and the 16th-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. ESPN Saturday Night College Football is broadcast in high definition, presented by Phillips. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Bob Davie, and welcome to State College, Pennsylvania. Almost 108,000 people have gathered here tonight. They call this place Happy Valley, and you talk about happy. It means Joe Pa's Lions are undefeated. And Bob Davie, to me, the thing that's really strange about this entire situation, you would think that Joe Paterno's ball club that would be 5-0 right now would be led by a pack of veterans. That's not the case. They're actually led by a pack of freshman wide receivers.
Ron, these freshmen have re-energized this entire Penn State football program. The first thing you'll notice, they are all fast. Derek Williams was a #1 high school recruit in the country last year. They get him the football a lot of ways. They'll line up a wide receiver, running back, and even at quarterback. Deion Butler, he was a walk-on, but the coaches say he may end up being the best pure wide receiver they have. And Justin King, he'll play both offense and defensive. Look for him at wide receiver and also at corner in their nickel package. And they're going to play a lot of nickel tonight.
Bob, I want you to think about something. Here we are at Penn State. They've always been known as linebacker U. Well, when you talk about the Buckeyes of Ohio State, I would suggest to you that they've had some great ones, but this trio that they have this year, all preseason, all-American, and all-conference are both. I think these are the best linebackers maybe Ohio State has ever had.
Well, people ask me all the time, Ron, who has the best linebackers in the country? Ohio State gets my vote because they complement each other so well. A.J. Hawk, he's the leading tackler. He's the playmaker. Anthony Schlegel, he's the middle linebacker and a great leader on the field. Bobby Carpenter gives them flexibility because he's a great blitzer and also plays defensive end. Ron, those young wide receivers from Penn State better be careful coming across the middle against these veteran linebackers.
So the question here tonight, are the Lions back to glory? We'll find out in the next 60 minutes. It's Ohio State coming calling against the Nittany Lions. Is a rocking here at Beaver Stadium, State College, Pennsylvania, Ohio State, and Penn State. Part of the jam-packed house. You talk about a tough ticket. Many people said this is actually an impossible ticket. You simply couldn't get it. We've had rain the last couple of days. Right now it's 48 degrees. The wind north-northeast at 10, and the forecast is for rain. Let's get more on the weather conditions and the field. Let's go down to the sideline. Holly Rowe.
Thanks, Ron. Well, it is a wet, rainy night here tonight. The field was covered up until about an hour before game time. It is in good condition. The field people say they're not worried about it, but keep in mind, this field was just planted, resodded just 2.5 weeks ago, so it doesn't have the deep roots. I talked to the coaching staffs of both schools. They said they're not worried. The wet field seems to favor the offense. They said that way they know where they're going, and then the
It's Ginn, and he is going to be racked hard shy of the 20-yard line. So Penn State won the toss. They deferred to the second half, and that means that we get a look at the offensive unit of the Ohio State Buckeyes and quarterback Troy Smith, the junior out of Cleveland, Ohio.
Maybe had a breakout game last week against Iowa. Ron, 318 yards offense. But let me tell you something. This is not Iowa's defense. This is Penn State's defense, and this is a good defensive football team.
Student section directly behind the quarterback Troy Smith and his offensive unit, and he's going to take it on the ground with the run first. And coming up defensively is Dan Connor, who is starting at linebacker tonight to stop the run after a very short gain. Here are the starters: Pittman at tailback, Ginn, Santonio Holmes, Gonzalez, and Hamby. And Pittman is a breaker. You got to keep an eye on him and know where he is located all the time. Dadish, Sims, Mangold, that's where it all starts, right there in the middle out of Centerville, Ohio. Downing and Barton on the right side of the line.
This left guard, Rob Sims, an excellent puller. They love to bring a big athletic guy like that and pull him up on those linebackers.
You can see Smith, they spread it out with 4 wide receivers. Empty backfield, wants to throw. First pass of the night going to be incomplete. It would have been enough for the first down, but he couldn't hold on. Let's take a look at the starters on defense for Penn State tonight. And Matthew Rice. Those are the guys down in the trenches. The linebackers, Kozlowski, that's where it all starts right there. He's the heart of this defense. Sales and Shaw, the other 2 gentlemen at linebacker. And in the secondary, Zamitis and Phillips at the corners, and Harrell and Lowry are at the safety. Here comes third down, Ohio State, and they got to take it out to their own 26 or kick the football away to the Nittany Lions.
Quarterback run, always a possibility in these situations.
Steps up. Gets away from one defender, going to be hit in the open field and knocked down, and it's Paul Pusley, the gentleman we were just talking about, the heart and soul of that defense, and he got out as Jay Alford was the man applying the pressure.
Paul Pusley, 22 tackles against Northwestern spread offense a couple weeks. Shows his closing speed right there on Troy Smith.
So to punt it away. Calvin Lowry is the deep end. Here's the punt. Good. Hanging spot. Driving kick. Taking it to 38-yard line. Nothing but on the sideline. And great coverage by the Buckeyes as they are there to stop that punt return immediately. Antonio Smith is the man who makes the tackle. 46 on the punt and 3 on the return. So let's talk offense in Penn State. And that means number 12, the senior out of Richmond, Virginia, Michael Robinson.
A great athlete at quarterback. Make no mistake, Ohio State, Ron, will make him throw the football like they did when they played Texas and they forced Vince Young to throw it. He was only 13 for 32 passing last week against Minnesota.
That's Tony Hunt behind him, number 26, the tailback. Williams in motion. To Hunt has 5, 6, and 7. He will take it out close to midfield. The tackle made by safety Nate Sally, and we'll call his name a lot tonight. He is very active and very good. Well, you just saw Hunt at tailback. Derek Williams, Butler, and Justin King, the wide receivers, and Smoko, primarily a blocker, is the tight end. With the offensive line, it all starts with the big fella out on the left side, number 67, Levi Brown. They pull him, they do a little bit of everything with him, and he is a body crusher. They marked it down as a gain of 5, so it's 2nd and 5. Short drop, good protection, got a man open, and it is in and out of the hands of his receiver, Derek Williams, down the sideline, and I thought for a moment that that ball was going to get picked off. As we take a look at the starters on defense for the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Down in the trenches, Patterson, Green, Hitchcock, and Kudla. The linebackers, well, we talked a lot about them in the opening, and you'll hear us call the names Carpenter, Schlegel, and A.J. Hawk many times tonight. In the secondary, the corners, Everett and Yabodi, and it's Whitner, and you'll see him blitzing all night long out of Cleveland, Ohio, and Nate Sally, who made that tackle just a moment ago. Third down, Penn State. They need the 49 of the Buckeyes. Lobs it right over the middle, not even close on the throw. Michael Robinson kind of short-armed that one as Justin King was the man that he wanted, and he threw it behind him, and he was open.
Ron, you think about Penn State and Ohio State, used to be I-formation schools. You think about Ohio State with Eddie George and Archie Griffin, Franco Harris, Kurt Warner for Penn State. Forget about the I-formation. These are two spread offense football teams.
Jeremy Capanos, who's a junior out of Springfield, Virginia, stands back to punt. Waits for the snap at the 32. So each team with a possession. 3 and out. Takes his time with the punt and does not get off a good one. Off the side of his foot. And I don't know why he was waiting unless he mishandled the ball and had to get the laces corrected. If the left footer gets one off the side of his foot, let's see where they're going to place it down. I'm going to say that is an 11-yard punt. So timeout. 12:21 left. Opening quarter. No score. Welcome back to Beaver Stadium, State College, Pennsylvania. After an 11-yard punt, they were still trying to get a hold on exactly what happened on that punt, because the left footer took his time and it looked as though he was going to get it blocked, and then off the side of his foot for only 11 yards. So the Buckeyes open their second drive with excellent field position at their own 43. Pittman tries the left side. It's a nice job defensively as they close in quickly on him. Again, number 31, Paul Puslesny, is there to make the tackle. Bob, you know a lot about him because they say Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, but he comes from a place that is just right down the road from where you grew up. Isn't that right?
He literally grew up about 5 houses from where I grew up, but a junior captain. That's the first one since 1969, 1968, when Mike Reed and Steve Smear were junior captains for Joe Paterno.
Well, you got a good look at Joe there on the sideline. Pacing could not have been happy with that last series and the short punt. Here's Smith on the run, throws the pass, got it complete, and that is Stan White. Stan White, a senior out of Beaver, Pennsylvania, 6'2", 235 on the receiving end. It's going to be a gain of 11, and the initial first down of the night by either one of the clubs from a play from scrimmage.
Troy Smith last week run 320 yards offense as we look at Jim Tressel on the sidelines. Did a great job of being patient in the pocket, not taking off and running with the ball immediately against Iowa. See if he has that same patience against this good Penn State defensive front.
First down from the 44. Here comes the option, and that is a shove pass in the middle. And everybody is excited, but it is an incomplete pass. As the shovel pass is considered a forward pass, that's incomplete. But it did go kind of high here.
It did, and obviously a chance to intercept this football right here. As you see, Matt Rice, the defensive end, really gave Troy Smith a tough read right there. But bottom line, incomplete pass, sets up 2nd and 10.
On Troy Smith, passing 419 yards, rushing 241. 7 touchdowns total for him. On second down, sets in the pocket. Now he's going to run. Hit after a gain of maybe a couple. And again, it's Puslesny who is there to make the tackle. And unofficially, we already have him for 3 stops on the night.
Ron, I think you can see right away how Troy Smith makes a conscientious effort right here to stay in this pocket. Right here, you see that window, but he's been coached up to be patient. Bottom line, excellent coverage right there by Penn State, forced him to run.
So third down, and the situation, the line to make is the 34 of Penn State.
Ted Ginn at the bottom, Santonio Holmes up at the top.
Sets to throw, gets it out on a screen, and that's Pittman. Pittman will have the first down. Boy, does he get knocked down hard at the 32-yard line, but he has the first down. And again, guess what? Number 31, Puslesny, along with Calvin Lowry.
You're going to see an excellent block out here by the center. Nick Mangold, number 55, right there. Does a good job on Anwar Phillips, and you're right, that's an excellent tackle right there in the open field. 2nd and 10. 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 2
We talked about in the open when we introduced the players, Bob, the fact that Pittman is a guy you better know where he is at all times because he is a breaker.
171 yards against Iowa last week showed his ability.
On first down, they pitch it back, and that's Gwynn. Turns the corner, going to have it inside the 30, and he's down to around the 25-yard line. Now, the big question mark comes up all the time from backers of Ohio State. How many different ways can you get him the football?
Well, I like that way right there. And I think Ohio State took a chapter out of the Penn State playbook, the way they're using their talented freshman Derek Williams, who they line up at wide receiver and running back. Might have stole that one on their film study this week on their opponent.
This time, he will come split out to the left side. You see what he's done as far as touches and yards that he has this year. Straight ahead, that's Pittman taking it off the left side. And some good blocking behind Sims and Mangold. He's very close to the first down. I think it's going to be third down and a less than a yard. Matthew Rice defensively.
And I like Antonio Pittman. Last year showed his ability only in brief spurts. Felt like he got worn down both physically and mentally. Has added 10 pounds, but the real thing, he's matured as a football player.
Yep, the coaches all pointed that out, and they say they're excited about the progress that he has made. Here come the Buckeyes in a scoreless ball game, third down at about a half a yard. Schnitker comes into the backfield, but they go quarterback sneak, and it'll be enough for the first down. This was the 8th play of the drive by Ohio State. Jay Alford is the man down at the bottom of the stack defensively.
And this is a talented, veteran Penn State defense, but a defense that really struggled against Northwestern spread offense when they gave up 427 yards. But how about today with Northwestern putting 650 yards on Wisconsin?
We're going to talk more about Mr. Sutton, who had 244 yards in that ballgame. He was Mr. Ohio football last year. Straight ahead, that Schnitker gets the carry, going to be stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of a half yard, and that's about it. As a good defensive surge, Paul Posluszny, along with Paxton and Tim Shaw, combining on the stop.
And you won't see much of that old I formation, something Joe Paterno used to hang his hat on. And Ohio State last week came out in some I formation, tried to put a little attitude, a little physical nature into that spread offense. But you won't see many high formation plays there.
19 trips, Bob, inside that red zone, 8 touchdowns and 6 field goals. Smith sets in the pocket, lifts the pass, and he almost got that picked off. Ted Ginn is the man that he was looking for, and the closest man to it was a defender from Penn State.
Well, Ohio State's going to know where Ted Ginn. This is Ted Ginn right here. He's going to get man-to-man coverage right here. And watch the safety Lowry come in right here. They know where number 7 lines up. That time, double coverage.
Third down. They need to take it to the 9.5-yard line. 11th play of the drive, and all started at their own 43-yard line.
And they call this the shot Ginn formation. Pretty catchy phrase right there with Ginn in the
Smith going to run out of the pocket. Ties it up the short side of the field. Going to be tackled short of the first down. He'll be stopped around the 13-yard line by Dan Connor.
Dan Connor, a name Penn State fans have been waiting to hear called. When he was recruited, they said he may be the best linebacker ever at Penn State. Has had some off-the-field issues in Joe Paterno's doghouse. Definitely started tonight and showed some athletic ability right there.
Well, he sure did. This is going to be an attempt at 30 yards. Josh Houston, the kicker, of the right hash mark. Good pass, and his kick is up, and he's good. So we'll take a timeout with 6:41 left in this opening quarter. It is Ohio State who goes on the board first, 3-0.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Sonic. It's not just good, it's Sonic good. And Unleashed. Jet Li is Unleashed on DVD. Own Unleashed, unrated on DVD, October 11th.
Well, this is quite a sight in the stadium at any time because of the number of people that can get in here. But 20,000 students have on white tonight for the whiteout of Ohio State. And you know what? Looking from up here, Bob, that looks like even more than 20,000, does it, when that camera pans that entire side of the stadium over there. Buckeyes on top, 3-0. This kick is going to go about 9 yards deep in the end zone. And let's check the studio and Reese Davis.
All right, Ron, Iowa and Purdue, a game many of you were watching prior to the start of Ohio State and Penn State. The game has gone final, and Purdue appears to be in free fall once again, losing their third straight. Iowa going into Ross-Age Stadium, getting the 34-17 victory. Drew Tate accounting for 3 touchdowns.
Drew Tate, 360 yards passing. Not a national story, but what has happened to the Purdue defense with 11 starters back from last year, a proud tradition. They are in the count.
Yep, it is an amazing thing. You're right. Tony Hunt, the tailback. Here comes an option. Robinson down the sideline. Whoa. He will not be able to turn the corner as A.J. Hawk comes up and almost takes his head off with a necktie tackle. Here are the standings of the Big Ten. After Wisconsin got knocked off today, it means Penn State and Ohio State are the only undefeated teams in conference play.
Penn State had to gain some confidence today sitting around that hotel watching Northwestern knock off Wisconsin, Minnesota knock off Michigan.
Second down, the loss of about a half yard on the play as Robinson got tackled before he got to the corner. And we're going to go straight ahead with Tony Hunt. And he is being shoved back. They're going to give him forward progress of a couple of yards as Anthony Schlegel was the man who came there first to make the tackle for Ohio State.
So much made about Joe Paterno. Is he too old? Should he have retired? I'm going to give you a statistic, Ron. In the last 2 years, Penn State 7-16, but Ohio State 17 players drafted in 2 years. Penn State 4 players drafted in the last 2 years. Joe's not coaching any different right now. He's recruiting different with these young freshman playmakers. That's why they're better.
Well, they're fired up here at this school because the Lions are undefeated at 5-0 coming into this ball game, and so are the students. And I mean, it has been quite a scene this week. The pass in the flat, caught complete right there by Norwood. And Norwood is a local kid out of State College, Pennsylvania, not real big, at 5'10", 162. And Malcolm Jenkins made the stop. That's the initial first down for the Nittany Lions here tonight.
And they call these guys the Fab Four. We did not talk about Jordan Norwood, whose father is the secondary coach here, but he is the 4th member of that freshman wide receiver group. And interestingly, all those freshmen enrolled early, ended their high school career early, enrolled at Penn State, went through spring ball. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Well, it puts you ahead. There's no question about that, but I want to get your feelings about you like that. Going to go deep over the middle, got a man, and it's overthrown at the 25-yard line as Justin King, who is the fastest of this wide receiving group, had gotten behind the defender. Holly Rowe, what do you have for us?
Well, you're talking about Penn State finally getting some talent in. Well, this recruiting class kind of recruited themselves after Derek Williams and Justin King decided to come here. They got on the phone, they talked to some of their buddies, and Joe Paterno told us yesterday, these young kids recruited almost everybody for us. Their excitement and their buying into the program was a huge factor in them getting some of these talented young receivers.
You'll see another one there, Justin King, who will play both ways tonight.
That's right, we'll see him on both offense and defense. Second down and 10 with that incomplete pass and first down. Robinson got a man, got him open. Boy, does he get knocked down hard. Norwood again. But as you can see, the yellow line, and I'm not sure he's going to get the best spot in the world here because I thought he had the first. But if the yellow line is correct, I don't think he's going to have it. That was Whitner who came over to make the tackle line.
And again, we go to the sleeper, kind of the fabulous freshman Fab Four nobody talks about, Justin Norwood.
They did give him the first down. So a good spot, as you could see that he did come down on top, and that is not what they judge by as far as the first down. But I'll tell you, electronically, it is pretty doggone correct. Very few times is it incorrect. the pitch. They're going to try to run a counter tray and nothing with Williams. Derek Williams had lined up in the backfield, and Bobby Carpenter comes from his linebacking position to make the tackle. First stop for him. One of that threesome of linebackers that I described as maybe the best Ohio State's ever had in the pregame.
This guy is a great NFL prospect. I'm talking about Bobby Carpenter, 6'3", 255, runs 4.5, can play man-to-man on a tight end, can play in space. Also a great blitzer and pass rusher.
And we need to explain when Bob says in space, they can play, he puts a hand out, not only a linebacker. To the near sideline. That one's complete to Derek Williams. And they keep working to get those young, speedy wide receivers involved in the offense. And right now it's beginning to work. It's going to be a gain of about 12 on the play.
Derek Williams working on Ohio State's best coverage guy in Ashton Yebote. But how about Michael Robinson, Ron, early in this game, showing great accuracy. Again, only 12 for 32 last week against Minnesota.
Third down, and they need to take it just across midfield to the Ohio State 49-yard line. Ohio State showing blitz, and they come off the top. Penn State runs away from it, and Robinson will turn the corner, and he'll have the first down. They're going to spot him out at the 46. A.J. Hawk is the man who shoved him out of bounds, but it's a first down.
You can tell Penn State studied the Texas tape. You're going to see Dante Whitner, the strong safety, come from the field. They did this probably 6 or 7 times Ohio State did against Texas. Simple play by Penn State, run away from the strong safety blitz.
Snow and Hunt, the 2 men in the backfield, 9th play. This drive started 4 minutes and 4 seconds ago, and you can see that's not going to go anywhere. In fact, it's going to be a loss of a couple as Pitcock came in along with Patterson to mess up everything. And it's going to be a 2nd down and 12. And not a good way to play, whether you're at home or on the road, and that is behind the sticks against a defense as good as Ohio State's.
And all the attention, in my opinion, coming into this game on Penn State. Their big win last week against Minnesota. All these freshman receivers. Ohio State coming off the open date and the loss to Texas earlier. Not much attention, but this is a very, very good Ohio State football team.
2nd down and 12. That's Williams in motion. Robinson, good protection, then it breaks down, and as a result, he overthrows the pass. And that was Bobby Carpenter, who was coming in from his linebacking position to take out Robinson and force him to throw early.
And we talk about Bobby Carpenter lining up right here as a defensive end in a 3-point stance. And going against Penn State's best offensive tackle in Levi Brown. That's why that guy is a great NFL prospect. How about that pass rush move right there?
Let me tell you something. And when he gets there, he comes there angry. Robinson now 3 of 7 for 30 yards. From the shotgun. Here comes pressure. Got his pass away and also has a man open. And it's just a little too long. That was Deion Butler down the far sideline. And Robinson didn't have time to really take his time on that throw.
Because Marcus Green, number 94, was in Michael Robinson's face. And Marcus Green is an interesting guy. He lost 40 pounds between his freshman and sophomore year to make himself a football player.
Santonio Holmes and Ted Ginn back in a dual safety. And this is a little bit of a rarity. In college, you normally only see one deep return man. Here's Kapanos. And it's going to be taken as Ginn dropped the football. He mucked it, and it's down at the 14-yard line. 34 yards of the kick will take a timeout. Ohio State on top, 3-0. Just over a minute and a half left in this opening quarter.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Polaroid and in part by Honda. Introducing the half-ton Ridgeline. Above all, it's a Honda.
Well, you can see as we look up toward the lights, still some swirling rain. It's more of a heavy mist that is coming down. But as Holly reported, the field was covered until about an hour and a half before the game, and it is in great condition. We have had no slippage whatsoever. If it keeps this up, it may become a little bit of a factor. Pittman puts it in his stomach on a draw play, bounces outside, and then a good open field tackle. He's going to be stopped after 5. Chris Harrell.
Ron, we talk about the keys for this Ohio State offense. I think the first thing is protect the football for your Ohio State. They could have blown Iowa out of the stadium last week, but they turned it over in the red zone. Second thing, I think Antonio Pittman is a key guy. You see his explosiveness. He's the only tailback on the field on either team that can break one. Third thing, if this Penn State defense has a weakness, it's against spread offenses. Spread them from sideline to sideline with those talented wide receivers.
Well, let me give you a figure. You were talking about Ohio State having the week off, and it is good, and you get healthy as they're going to call a timeout. But under Jim Tressel, in games played after a week off, Ohio State's only 1-3, which is really strange, isn't it?
That's an amazing stat right there.
Well, Sunday night, 2 teams led by 2 young quarterbacks meet on ESPN Sunday Night Football. Carson Palmer and the explosive Bingham offense have led Cincinnati to its first start of 4-0 since 1988, and they face off against Byron Leftwich in Jacksonville. They are 2-2. Bengals and Jaguars also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Call your cable operator or satellite provider tonight. 47 seconds left in this opening quarter. And it is 3-0. And Bob, this is very much after watching video together yesterday and preparing for this ball game. You said you didn't think there'd be a lot of points scored in this ball game.
There won't be a lot of points in this game.
Second down. And it's about a long 5, maybe 5.5. They're going to take it out to the 24-yard line. That's Gann who comes out in the slot. Second man to the bottom of your screen. And here's a quarterback draw. Troy Smith going to pick up a couple. And that student section goes wild for the defense as Paul Puzlesny is there to make the tackle. Let's check in again with Holly Rowe.
Hey guys, let's keep our eye on the offensive line for Ohio State. They were a veteran bunch, but they've taken a hit. Kirk Barton, their right tackle, has gone down with a right knee injury. They're not sure if he'll return. As a result, they've moved Rob Sims, the left guard, over to his spot and then brought John Conroy in for him. So things shuffled around a little bit. Let's see how they respond.
Okay, thank you, Holly. Schnitker just checked into the ballgame. Brandon, a 5th-year senior out of Sandusky, Ohio, played at Perkins High School. Third down, they need the 24. Smith slips, steps up into the pocket, and now he's got room to run. A flag comes down as he's going to pick up about 20 yards in the play. But from where that marker was thrown, we're going to come back and probably have offensive holding. So we race a 19-yard run by Troy Smith.
During the play, holding, offense number 77, 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, third down.
Dave Whitvolt, the referee tonight.
And that call was on Rob Sims, number 77, who they moved from guard to right offensive tackle. You're going to see it right here, number 77, the right offensive tackle. The hold's going to come late, right there. And Holly just reported that Kirk Burton, the starting right tackle, is not in the game. They move Rob Sims to left guard to right tackle. This guy did play tackle last year, but has played guard all year. Big holding penalty right there.
Well, it erased a 19-yard gain.
And you cannot end the quarter on a penalty, so Ohio State sets up a 3rd and real long.
The difficult situation right here, Bob, at the 10-yard line. as you can see and I can see, and you can see, look at the top of that picture. That is the beginning of a student section that's over 20,000 strong. That's what they're having to listen to. Forget calling an audible. Schnitker going to be stopped after a gain of about 6 yards. Paul Pazlesny again with the tackle. We've got him unofficially for 5. 3-0. Ohio State leads. We'll be right back. What you're looking at right there, they simply named Paternoville, the mansions. Because of the bad weather, the students trying to get in this ball game for tonight, they've been out there for a week in those tents. And the players and Paterno and his coaching staff, they've taken everything from pizza to other kind of food to show their appreciation. There's a very, very high punt, and the return is going to run away from it. That's Lowry, and it's going to cost him a little bit, about 12 more yards as it bounced downfield. Now let's go down to the sideline and check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, there is a huge buzz here in State College. And last night they had a rally in the Valley, a huge pep rally that was filled to the rafters. So many kids were there, and Joe Paterno was at his finest. What he did was educate the fans on what they do when Troy Smith walks to the line. He gave a little wiggle waggle, walked up there, and pumped up the volume. He wants every time Troy Smith's under center to get crazy loud in here, guys. And they did a good job last time with Smith's back to his own end zone.
Well, they have taken his coaching very well tonight, Holly. It has been extremely noisy what Ohio State has been on offense. As you see Tony Hunt squeezing his way through a small hole for about 5 yards on the right. Anthony Schlegel from that middle linebacking position making the stop.
Anybody that says Joe Paterno is too old, they should have the access we have to see how these players on his football team respond to him, and those students at that student body last night with that pep rally respond to him. This guy is an unbelievable guy. And the energy of a guy half his age, but everybody responds to him, young and old.
And you know, Bob, there's probably no coach in America that has contributed more to his university than Joe Paterno. 2nd down and 5. Draw play, up to the right side, bounces it out. 5, 10, 15. He's off at the 50-yard line and going to be knocked out of bounds there by Dante Whitmer. It's the longest gain from scrimmage, 24 yards for the Nittany Lions. Bobby Carpenter had him and could not hold on.
And this is old-time Penn State Joe Paterno football. Watch the fullback in here. Brandon Snow gets an excellent block. It's the old I formation. And Tony Hunt, missed tackle by Bobby Carpenter in the open field. But that is old Franco Harris, I formation football at Penn State with the lead block.
Nice block by Andrew Richardson, who's replacing John Wilson, who has an injured knee tonight. Play action. Robinson sets deep. Now here comes pressure. Going to be hit. Gets away from the first tackler and will not get away from the next, who is number 51, Anthony Schlegel. Ron Franklin along with Bob Davie and Holly Rowe from Beaver Stadium in State College, Pennsylvania. We'll get the figure on exactly how many folks are here tonight, but they were anticipating around 108,000. Ohio State has won the last 3 meetings between these two teams, and right now they own a 3-0 lead with just over 13 minutes to play until halftime. Shotgun on 2nd down and short. Here comes a blitz off the corner. Tries to run it into the boundary. He does. And on a second effort, Michael Robinson close to the first down before Bobby Carpenter came from his linebacking position to make the tackle again.
Bobby Carpenter coming from the field. You don't see him in your screen yet. You're going to see him coming from the field. Just tracks this down from the backside.
4 on the play. 3rd and 1 for the Lions. On the Buckeye 35.
The guy who messed up the whole play was Hickok, who got penetration, and therefore Robinson couldn't get to the corner nearly as quickly. A nice defensive play by him. He won't get credit for the tackle, but he certainly destroyed what would have been a very large one. 3rd down and 1. You see Ohio State up tight. Robinson wants to run it to the left and bounce it back to the right. Gets a block, and the speed of that defense, he is not going to pick up the first down. He'll be knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Marcus Green. What do you do, Bob?
Well, if you listen to that crowd right here, you go for it. It looks like Joe is going to go ahead.
Well, they're signaling for the offensive unit to stay on the field. So a timeout is taken by Penn State. We'll take it with them. 3-0 with 11:49 left to play until halftime. So Ohio State 3, Penn State nothing. The number 6 team against the number 16 team. And we are just under 12 minutes left in this opening half of play. And a decision for the Nittany Lions, and we would assume as the offensive unit comes trotting back out, that they're going to go for this 4th down and short. They need about a yard. Look at the numbers on Robinson. 3 of 8 throwing, 30 yards, 5 carries for 13 yards. He needs to take it to the 34-yard line of Ohio State. Williams in motion, turns, hands it off to his tailback, Tony Hunt, and he'll have the first down, and he takes it down to the 33-yard line. Nate Sally defensively.
Michael Robinson, the quarterback, Ron. First 3 years at Penn State, 4 starts at quarterback, 6 starts at tailback, 5 at wide receiver. This is the happiest guy in the world right now to just be playing and, more importantly, practicing at just one position.
We all got to talk with him after practice on Thursday, and really an engaging young fella. And he did say, yep, I'm really happy just to be a quarterback, as you look at Tony Hunt taking it off the right side. Time now for SportsCenter, 30 at 30.
All right, Ron, baseball playoffs going on in the National League. The Astros have jumped on top of the Braves 2-0. Roy Oswalt against Jorge Sosa. In that game, it is Game 3, series tied at a game apiece. And on the subject of Atlanta, Falcons not sure if they're going to have their quarterback on Sunday. Michael Vick questionable for the game against the Patriots. SportsCenter, 2 a.m. Eastern Time. ESPN News all the time.
All righty. 2nd down for the Lions. This is the 8th play of the drive. It started back at their own 26-yard line. Robinson, pressure from the backside, steps up, gonna run it, cuts to the sideline. 25-20, still on his feet, inside the 15-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Penn State. 16 yards on the carry by Robinson.
The first thing, Michael Robinson lost 15 pounds, and you see his ability. But let's go back to last week against Minnesota. And this play right here shows you the strength of Michael Robinson on the sideline. And that play right there against Minnesota. Every great football team has a defining play. Penn State may look back on this season and say that was the defining play in their season. Because last night when they showed that the pep rally, that place went crazy.
It is 1st and 10. The ball resting at the 13-yard line. The pitch goes back to Derek Williams. Turns the corner at the 5. Touchdown, Penn State.
Joe said his number 1 priority was to recruit speed. I think he was pretty successful recruiting some speed.
Well, I think that, as speedy as Ohio State is on the defensive side of the ball, Bob, I'm not sure that they realized how quick Derek Williams was, and they certainly found out on that play right there. Kelly with the extra point attempt, and the left footer has it up, and it is good. And at 10 minutes and 28 seconds left in this opening half, our new score, Penn State 7, Ohio State 3, as freshman Derek Williams scores on the play.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Aflac. Ask about it at work. And Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, one taste and you get it.
Well, as you can imagine, this place is even more electric right now as the Nittany Lions get on the scoreboard and they take the lead in this ball game 7-3 with just over 10 minutes left until halftime.
Young speed re-energizes everyone.
9 plays, 74 yards, just over 4 minutes elapsed. Robinson with 4 carries for 25 yards on that series. Here's the kick down to the 5-yard line, and it is Ginn. Again, whoa, does he get wrapped up hard at the 19? And let's go back to the touchdown, Bob.
Everyone loves speed. Everyone sees the guy that scores the touchdown, but I want you to watch the block right here by number 50, Andrew Richardson, on Mike Kudla. That's the first block. The second block, number 43 right here, the wide receiver, Ethan Kilmer. Everybody loves speed, but what turns that speed loose is a couple great blocks right there.
You saw the pursuit angle, and it wasn't very good when he scored. Troy Smith from the shotgun. Sets. Now here comes the pressure. More pressure. Backside, they're going to sack him. Down at the 15-yard line, and it's Tom Bahali. The first time that they have gotten to him tonight. Tom Bahali is the man who got turned around and then wound up with the sack.
Tom Bahali again beating Rob Sims, number 77. You see at the top. And I think, again, Rob Sims, all of a sudden, Ron, has the right offensive tackle instead of the left offensive guard. That's a tough matchup on Tom Bahali. And listen to this crowd.
Oh, they're alive. Well, you talked about Sims was a starter at tackle for 3 years, but there is a vast difference, and obviously he's having some problems right now. Smith drills the pass. It is thrown short at the 29-yard line. And let's check in with Reese Davis.
All right, Ron, battle of unbeaten, UCLA and Cal. The Golden Bears jumped on top 14-0. It's 14-7 when Maurice Drew runs his way into the end zone. Harrison Smith was greeted. We're tied at 14.
Cal trying to do something they have not done in a very long time, and that is start off the season 5-0. Well, look at this crowd. Stop here, and it's third down. Ohio State needs the 30-yard line. Great protection. Ball is drilled. It is intercepted at the 30, and that's Lowry. 15, 10 at the 5. It'll be first and goal at the 2-yard line, Penn State.
First thing, Troy Smith shows great patience by staying in the pocket. He doesn't take off and run. He tried to go right here over the middle to the tailback, Pittman, and he throws it right to Lowry. And watch this block by 55, Matt Rice. It happened actually a little bit earlier, but a poorly thrown ball. State's defense sets up a golden opportunity for their offense.
Snow and Hunt in the backfield. Snow the fullback, and he'll give it to the tailback, and Hunt not going to get there. In fact, he'll be stopped at the line of scrimmage. Nate Sally came up and put a headgear on him quickly.
That was a lick by the free safety, Nate Sally, who was a great basketball player in high school, played basketball his first year at Ohio State, but that is a heck of a lick on the goal. Wow, that is a form tackle right there.
So the ball remains at the 1-yard line. Penn State leads it by 4 and trying to push it out to a 14-3 lead. They run it back into the short side of the field, and Hunt going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage. He might have even lost a half-yard in the play. So now Ohio State is going to force it to a 3rd down and goal as David Patterson, a junior out of Warrensville Heights, made the tackle. Now, Bob, a little bit of a hush coming over this crowd because they're surprised that close they've not been able to push it in.
Penn State loves option football in this situation. Just down the line, zone option.
1.5 yards away. 3rd down and goal. And here they come
interception. Michael Robinson.
The interesting thing on that play, when we get an opportunity to look at the replay, both A.J. Hawk and Bobby Carpenter had a shot at it, and we talked about the strength of Robinson, and he got through their tackles. Kelly with the extra point attempt. Ball is down, and the left footer splits it, and it is 14 Penn State, 3 Ohio State, just under 8 minutes left until halftime. As you look one more time at the touchdown by Michael Robinson. Look of concern on those Ohio State defenders right there. And we're going to show you the replay of what happened. This is Skycam, and watch the touchdown by Robinson.
And this is a great angle. You've got two senior All-American linebackers. Both of them are going to have a shot at this quarterback. First, Schlegel right there. A.J. Hawk second. But the leg strength, lower body strength of Michael Robinson. A little bit of a faraway look in the eyes of Bobby Carpenter over there on the sideline.
So we look at Kelly as he prepares to kick it off. We are under 8 minutes to play, opening half, and all of a sudden, after an interception, Penn State opens this ball game up to an 11-point lead. This is game 15. Tries to get outside and will not be able to turn the corner. He's going to be stopped short of the 20-yard line. Trivia question. Who was the only player to have 1,000 receiving yards in a season at Penn State? And here's a hint for you. The answer can be found in the ESPN College Football Encyclopedia on page 705. The answer comes later on.
Big rebound, bounce back series right here for Troy Smith in this Ohio State offense. Momentum definitely on the side of the guys in the blue jersey.
Wind really beginning to kick up here at Beaver Stadium. From the 19-yard line. Play action by Smith. Got a man open, throws it to his tight end, and that is Hamby. Hamby will be stopped after a gain of right at 10 yards. In fact, they're going to say 11, so move the sticks for Ohio State. Good, safe play to pick up the first down.
Excellent call right there. Went with the little play action to the tight end. We see Justin Zwick on the sidelines. Justin Zwick started the bowl game, started the first game of the year this year for Ohio State because Troy Smith was suspended for the bowl game in the first game of the year.
This time, the ball is taken into the line. Pittman on the carry, and Connor comes over to make the tackle. Pittman, a sophomore out of Akron, 5'11", 195 pounds. As Connor making, I believe, his third stop of the night.
We go back to Troy Smith, Ron. It was his job at the end of last season. They finished 4-1 with him at quarterback. Most importantly, he beat Michigan if you're at Ohio State. Then he had the suspension, which caught up and led to the rotating quarterbacks.
Movement on the part of the Buckeyes, and they're going to be penalized 5 yards.
False start. Offense.
And it's checked down on the sideline with Holly Rowe.
You guys are talking about Troy Smith, and would they bring in Justin Zwick? I can tell you one reason why they might not. The team really responds to Troy. One of the things that they have said, including center Nick Mangold, is he's got this look in his eye. You just want to follow him. And he speaks like our captain, even though he's not. They really like his leadership. He seems to command it. And guys, in pregame warm-ups out here, he was thrown to his receivers. He's bossy and demanding of these guys. One reason they might keep him in.
Second down, about 10 and a half. Pittman again, and he takes this one out across the 25. Paul Puslesny comes over to make still another stop. Let's make it the 35 rather than the 25. And for Ohio State, I think this is a very big down right here because if they have to punt it away, and Penn State gets the ball with just under 6 minutes to play on the scoreboard, some working time, and Ohio State certainly doesn't want more points on the board by Penn State before halftime.
And it comes down to Troy Smith passing situation. Can he make a play right here on 3rd down and 5?
Brandon Schnitker checks into the lineup, number 43. They use him as a blocker, gets the pass away, and it's Hamby again, got the first down, plus about 6 more yards as he takes it up to around the 47-yard line.
And you have to feel good for Ryan Hamby. Thinking back to that Texas game, dropped a sure touchdown pass on the goal line. Very unfortunate for this young guy. Obviously took a lot of heat in Columbus and from the student body, but good to see him step up and make a play. Played hurt last week against Iowa, but played the whole football game.
Actually, some things happened that were absolutely ridiculous. And even death threats, come on. This is a game. It's a very important game for a lot of people, but that goes well beyond what should occur. As Schnitker gets the pitch, he's going to turn the corner. Wow, he gets whacked very hard at the 44.5-yard line, and it's Puslesny with still another hit. You know, versus Texas, Ryan Hamby dropped a pass in the end zone late in the third quarter, which would have put Ohio State up by 10 after the extra point. Texas eventually, of course, won the ball game. And I could tell you this, yesterday, as we sat in the video quarters here at Penn State in the offensive lounge and watched, there were a lot of hands, bodies, and an umpire that could have easily distracted that. It was not an easy catch, not by any shape of the imagination. Schnitker takes the ball down to the 44-yard line. Tim Shaw is on the stop. Let's go down to the sideline and Holly Rowe.
Well, Ryan Hamby told his coaches that he received around 50 hate and death email threats. He said that it was a little upsetting, but he did keep one of those. He dismissed the others, but he kept one as motivation to keep him going and realize that he does need to make big plays in big situations. I talked to some of the coaches before the game, though, and they said he shouldn't be worried about that. It was a tough catch to make, and they're not down on Ryan Hamby.
Well, as I said, we watched it yesterday and watched it many times. It was anything but an easy catch. Third down, they need about a yard and a half. Pass is thrown, got it complete, and it's good for the first down at the 39 to Santonio Holmes.
And this is Ohio State's best receiver right here, Santonio Holmes. Excellent call right there. Takes advantage of soft coverage by Alan Zamitis. This is the guy that opposing defenses double cover, not Ted Ginn.
So it's first down, Ohio State. Clock runs just under 4 minutes to play until halftime. First catch by Holmes tonight as the handoff goes to Pittman, and he finds a very good hold on the right side, and he'll take it down to the 31. Reese Davis, let's check back with you.
All right, Ron, Colorado and Texas A&M and the Buffs are opening up a can on the Aggies. This is in the early going. Joel Klatt finding Hugh Charles, and this was sort of an omen of things to come. 28-6. Colorado's lining up for another field goal in the National League Division Series. Braves and Astros locked up at 2 in the third.
All right, Reese straight ahead with Pittman again. He's going to be close to the first down. In fact, from where the linesman on the near side has come in and given him a spot, it will be. Tom Bahali and Dan Connor combining on the tackle.
Excellent drive right here by this Ohio State offense, responding from the Troy Smith interception on the last drive. Let's go back to Ryan Hamby on that big third down reception for the first down.
10th play of the drive coming up, and this would be quite a statement if the Buckeyes could put points on the board here. Smith gonna keep it inside the 25, and he's down to the 20, close to the first down as Chris Harrell comes over from his free safety position to make the tackle.
Troy Smith, again, in my opinion, taking advantage of not rotating quarterbacks. Ohio State makes a decision to go with Troy Smith, gives him more consistency, takes advantage of not going to the bench right now, and comes up with a big drive right here.
This drive started back at the 19-yard line, 10 plays, 62 yards. They've used 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Pittman right at the middle. Boy, that is a tough half-yard right there. Harrell comes up from that safety position again, and I don't know if he got the first down or not.
Talking to Jim Bowman, Ohio State's offensive coordinator and offensive line coach, he said this Penn State defensive front is the best defensive front they've gone against all year. And in Austin, Texas, they're pretty proud of that defensive front down there. So that tells you how strong this front four is from Penn State.
So there's a timeout called. We'll take it with a 1:50 until halftime, 14-3. So we're back 14-3, Penn State on top. And Ohio State fans are not going to be real happy with this spot. In fact, they shouldn't be.
I think they have a legitimate beef right here. Watch the spot of this football.
He almost has the first down, Bob.
He almost has the first down. That looks like a yard deficient in the spot. Actually, a whole yard, in my opinion, of where that football should be spotted right there.
So it's third down.
And that is reviewable, by the way.
Straight ahead, Smith with the quarterback sneak. I don't think there's any doubt about this one. Right off the block of Mangold, his center, the senior out of Kettering, Ohio. And the clock will stop as they move the chains. 1:47 showing on the stadium clock until halftime.
And Nick Mangold makes all the calls at the line of scrimmage. Some guys can do it on the blackboard, but can't do it on the field. This guy does it on the field. A very experienced center for Ohio State.
He played as a true freshman for the Buckeyes. There's movement and contact is being made. You can see Mangold, we were just talking about, got knocked into the backfield because he hadn't snapped it yet.
Illegal contact. Number 41 defense. 5 yards. The down remains first.
Is Mangold waving to him? That is the first penalty against Penn State on the night.
Right there, you're going to see Paxson. And no question, Nick Mangold is trying to make that call right there for the umpire.
Smith keeps the ball, fights his way forward, down close to the 10-yard line. Scott Paxton makes the tackle for the Nittany Lions. And now that clock becomes very, very important. We are under 1 minute left until intermission. Troy Smith looks back over to the bench to get the call.
Ohio State problems turning the football over last week in the red zone against Ohio State, against Iowa, excuse me.
This is the 14th play of the drive. And they'll run the option. And Smith will hold on to it at the 5. He's still close, and he scores. Touchdown, Ohio State. And what a statement following an interception return down to the 1. And now that cuts into that 14-3 lead.
Troy Smith may have had some off-the-field problems in his career at Ohio State, but make no mistake, he is a leader, and that is a great comeback drive after throwing the interception to Calvin Lowry on the last possession.
Well, they're going to review that.
If you're an Ohio State fan, you wonder why they didn't review that previous spot we had on the 4th down conversion. Get a chance to look at it right here. We should have a great angle. That is a bang, bang call right there. Obviously, was the knee down before he extended the ball? Again, the buzzword in college football, indisputable video evidence. They ruled it a touchdown on the field. I think it will stand as a touchdown on the field. That is too close, in my opinion, to reverse that call. Now, I'm waiting to hear your opinion on it.
I'll tell you what, if I'm an Ohio State guy, I'm saying, hey, it's a touchdown. If I'm a Penn State guy, I'm saying, you know, it is bang, bang, but his knee's down.
Let's look at where the knee goes down. Right there, the knee's down. Probably should be spotted on the 1-inch line. Is that indisputable evidence right there?
I don't know. That's a great point. We'll find out right now. And this crowd's going to let you know very quickly.
After review, the plan stays as ruled on the field. Touchdown.
not much of a reaction from the student section, but they don't have replay either. Josh Houston to attempt the extra point, trying to make this a 4-point ball game.
Josh Scott Paxson, number 41. This guy's good at blocking field goals and extra points.
Kick is right down the middle by Houston. 33 seconds left until halftime, and that cuts the lead to Penn State, 14-10 over the Buckeyes. Reese Davis, let's check in with you.
All right, Ryan, coming up on the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report, Lou Holtz and Mark May alongside will show you how the Horns hooked them and yet another scare for the Trojans, if you want to call it a scare. And the game day guys are in Happy Valley. We'll check in back with them at the half.
You've heard a lot about the Longhorn defense all week, but their offense was just as balanced this week.
Texas not only had a great win, they're downhill, clear to the championship game. Their schedule favors them.
And we'll also show you how Georgia once again worked a little road magic against the Vols.
All right, gentlemen, we look forward to hearing from you at halftime. Coach Holtz, I would remind you of one thing, that the team from out in Lubbock who scored on the last play to knock off Nebraska on the road today, they have just been an Achilles for Texas on many, many occasions. And that's one that the Longhorns probably should win, yes, but that's one they certainly better be totally focused on. Derek Williams is the deep man for Penn State. And this is his short kick. It's going to hit the ground and then taken by King and almost poke it out as he takes it to the 25-yard line. Here's the answer to tonight's Aflac trivia question. Who's the only player to have 1,000 receiving yards in a season at Penn State? And the answer is, would you have gotten this one, Bob? Bobby Ingram, 1994 and 1995. I would not have.
Would have not gotten that myself unless I had the advantage of looking at our ESPN.
Well, I was going to look it up, but I wasn't strong enough to bring it up here. Colleen still has it on the desk down there. So we got 29 seconds showing on the clock. And they'll keep it on the ground with Tony Hunt. Bounces it back to the right. He's going to have a gain of about 9 yards. A.J. Hawk defensively.
Well, let's talk again about what a tremendous drive by Ohio State and Troy Smith. All the momentum on the side of Penn State. That's kind of a surprising timeout right there. You run the football and then call timeout.
So you look at the Ohio State bench right there, and the Buckeyes coming back with a drive that I think, you know, not only makes a statement, but could go very, very deep into the outcome of this ball game, simply because after being intercepted, a return to the one, and the Penn State gets the touchdown, and they come right back and score the length of the field.
Let me make this point. I think for Troy Smith, it does a world of good for his confidence. Yeah. But what if they're still alternating quarterbacks like they had been? They may have gone with Justin Zwick after that interception that Troy Smith threw to Calvin Lowry. So I think, again, just the one quarterback system helped this football team, gave Troy Smith an opportunity to come back and make a play and rebound. And they have some confidence going in here at halftime.
Well, that really would have been unfair if they had done it after the interception, because everybody's going to do that from time to time. Robinson under heavy pressure, and they're going to knock him down behind the line of scrimmage. And with that's going to be the final play of this first half. 2 seconds down to 1. David Patterson makes the tackle. And we are at halftime here at Happy Valley. And let's go down to the sideline, Holly Rowe, with the head coach of Ohio State, Jim Tressel.
Coach, you had a key injury on your offensive line. How did that affect you in the first half?
Well, Kirk Barton's a good player, and you know, when you lose him that early, it's tough. But you know, that's part of football, and we've got capable guys, and we'll get it going.
After Troy Smith threw that interception, you come back with a long established drive. How did that help your team?
Yeah, that's important. You know, that was just a poor decision, and you know that happens sometimes, and you have a tough time winning on the road if you make too many of those poor decisions. But it was good to see the way our kids responded.
All right, thanks, Coach, very much. Ron?
Thanks very much, Holly. Our score at halftime is Penn State 14 and Ohio State 10. Now here's Reese Davis with the Pontiac
Reese, thank you. 108,000 folks. Just a great atmosphere inside here. And for a while, it was old school Big Ten football and then drizzle. Shank putt sets up a field goal in the first quarter. Guys, I thought the second quarter belonged to the two mobile, multi-threat quarterbacks, Michael Robinson, Troy Smith. Excellent leadership.
Well, three things impressed me right here in this place. Number one is, as he said, the atmosphere, but especially the student body. If this isn't one of the best places in America, I don't know the other one. And number two, the hitting. Wow, these guys hit. And number three, Michael Robinson. This guy is a man playing at quarterback. He's very, very good, I'll tell you.
The thing that stood out to me in this game, Coach, is the fourth down call. The fourth down call for Joe Paterno to go for it and make it, turn the complexion of the game around, because the Penn State players fed off of that decision, went right down and scored, got a turnover and scored. Ohio State very fortunate to turn around and be able to put some points on the board. That fourth down, unprecedented for Joe Paterno to go for it.
Yep. Some ex-coach was saying punt the ball, pin it back.
I did.
Hey, Ted Ginn may want to find it in his heart to begin playing with some energy here. He's tiptoeing around it here, afraid to get hit, maybe afraid of his footing, but he's not a part of this game right now.
Not right now. I'll tell you what, if I was the Ohio State coach, I'd get that number 4 Holmes in the ball game, because he's a game breaker. And also, I think the team that runs the football in the second half is going to win this game, because the passing game is average.
A couple of things to me that stood out here in the second half. Number one, the traction is horrendous. When you think about rain, you think, oh, it's an advantage for the defense. That's wrong. It is so slippery, the defense has to respond to the receivers. That's a big advantage for the offense, because you know where you're cutting, the defense does it. Ohio State has not thrown the ball downfield 15 or 20 yards. They have one receiver's made one catch. If Ohio State expects to move the ball, take a chance downfield to stretch a Penn State team that is very well prepared by Tom Bradley, the defensive coordinator.
Lions, a lot of exciting incompletions as they go downfield so far. They will get the ball to start the second half. Paterno, interesting decision. He canceled all the official recruiting visits here this weekend. Joe, let him see this place. You're trying to recruit players. How you could do that, I have no idea.
That's
but
the best student section in the country. They're crazy.
Cautiously optimistic at the break right here, Reese. Back to you guys.
So many hits that you take, some of the ones that you give, that's Big Ten football the whole way around. We're not the same pushover team that, we used to when they fight for their own coach. It's like out there with grown men. We are, and always will be, Penn State.
So we're at halftime, 14-10 our score, and the Nittany Lions lead this football game. And Bob Davie, to me, I'm not surprised at the way this first half has been played and also the closeness of the ball game. But I'd have to say the two defining moments in the first half as far as each team is concerned, the interception by Lowry to take it back to the 1. They score a touchdown off of that. But then Ohio State to come back and take a long drive and all of a sudden yank some of the momentum away from the Nittany Lions.
That drive was key, and these are the two best defenses by far in the Big Ten. Two of the best defenses in the country. If you're an Ohio State fan, you may say, look, let's throw the football down the field a little bit. Let's get the ball to 10 again a little bit. I may try to get his hands on it more, but I worry about pass protection if you're Ohio State, because Sims, the guard, is now at tackle. If you're Penn State, keep doing what you're doing. The bottom line, this is an even football game as we head into the second half.
So it's there for the taking for either club. Your point is extremely well taken. We've got a great 30 minutes of football left. We're coming up here from Beaver Stadium. Derek Williams is the deep man, and this kick is going to be short. It's a spinner, and taken by an up back at the 25-yard line, and out to the 32 is Matt Hong. You see a little ground repair work going on right there as he is trying to stamp down the grass where his plant foot hit, and possibly he slipped just a little bit. That was not a designed kick, maybe, Bob. Michael Robinson, 3 of 8, 30 yards, 8 carries for 29 yards, but a touchdown. Quick out pass to the sideline. That's Norwood. Norwood's going to have a short gain, maybe about 3 on the play.
You look at these Penn State wide receivers, obviously 4 freshman wide receivers, not very big, not the prototypical big, tall wide receiver. But Joe Paterno said, #1 priority, recruit speed, and they really have re-energized not only this offense, but this entire program.
But they're going to go with the fullback on this play. Brandon Snow, a junior out of Wilmington, Delaware, is the fullback. Tony Hunt is right there behind him, number 26. And a quick pass got it on the sideline. It's Butler. Dion Butler, a redshirt freshman out of Woodbridge, Virginia. Holly Rowe, let's check on the sideline with you.
Well, I caught up with Joe Paterno of Penn State at the half, and he said he loved his team's hustle in the first half. So what do you expect to do here in the second? He said, keep hustling. He said these are two pretty good defensive football teams, and football teams, he thinks that people need to realize just how tough a game this is. He said this is a clash of two great teams.
Well, Joe had it written all over his face yesterday. Now, he didn't say it necessarily as Butler makes his first catch. But he was really excited about this football game and for his team an opportunity to play in a situation like this. The pass well overthrown. You see Joe shaking his head.
You're right, Joe, but much better that he throws it over that bench than to throw it at a guy in a white jersey. But how about this guy? He is unmatched, not as only as a football coach, but as a fundraiser. I mean, he's in charge of fundraising at Penn State. I should clarify that. Maybe not officially, but unofficially, he has brought a lot of dollars into this university.
Well, that's the reason I said back in the first half that, you know, he probably has done as a head coach and a guy who loves his school. Big opening for Hunt, has 5, has 10, counted off at 13. But Joe has probably done more than any head coach.
Again, Brandon Snow, the fullback, gets an excellent block on Bobby Carpenter right here, pins him inside, and a holding call right there should have been called on number 74, Tyler Reed. But Tony Hunt, interesting guy, Ron. He committed to USC in the summer of his junior year. Reggie Bush commits a little bit later. Tony Hunt says, look, I think I'm going down the road to Penn State.
Smart
he
guy.
is really playing well tonight.
That's the longest run for Hunt in the ball game tonight as they scrimmage from the 44. Williams gets the ball and try to get it to him every way they can because, as he showed on the touchdown run back in the first half, sometimes your pursuit angle's not good.
These are outstanding defenses. You look at Dante Whitner, the strong safety. This guy studies more tape than coaches, and he is a great blitzer. He's a playmaker out there on the field.
So here come the Nittany Lions with the second down and 10. They need to take it down to the 34-yard line, and they lead 14-10. And trying to make a statement here on this opening drive of the second half. Blitz coming up the middle. Pass. Was he inbounds? Yes. Dion Butler. And now all of a sudden they have decided that Butler is going to be the man that they'll look for. And it's time now for SportsCenter 30 at 30.
All right, Ron, baseball playoffs going on. As you probably know, Yankees and Angels got rained out, but the Braves and the Astros are playing. Astros with a 3-2 lead right now as they play in the 5th inning. WGC American Express Championship. Tiger Woods just 2 shots behind John Daly for the lead. $7 million purse there. SportsCenter, 2 a.m. Eastern Time, ESPN News all the time.
All right, Reese, first down. Nittany Lions. They scrimmage from the Buckeye 31-yard line. Robinson hands it off to Hunt. He spins his way down to the 29. A.J. Hawk finally stopped it.
Ron, you talk about these great freshman receivers at Penn State. What a contrast. Derek Williams, number 2, the most highest recruited player in all of high school football last year. Dion Butler comes here as a walk-on. Number 3, Dion Butler. They say Dion Butler may be the best pure receiver of them all. Has a tremendous burst. But this guy was a walk-on, just showed up. His only other scholarship offer, William Eno.
Well, he was a quarterback last year. Played on the defensive side of the ball. Was injured in the spring. Robinson's going to run it. And boy, look how quickly that secondary came up as Whitman came over to make the tackle like he was shot from a cannon, didn't he?
And all these Ohio State players were talking about Michael Robinson and how he ran over the defensive back from Minnesota last week. And right here, fortunately maybe, Michael Robinson slips right here because this would have been a heck of a collision in the open field. Michael Robinson is one of those prototypical quarterbacks that's going to slide.
It's third down. They need to take it to the 21-yard line of Ohio State. 4-point lead for Penn State, trying to add to it on this drive right here. Straight in the pocket, swings it out. Faked it, now throws it, and it's too tall for Derek Williams. Probably wishing right now he'd thrown it the first time.
I think he probably wishes, if he looks back, he would have gone to Deion Butler, number 3 right here. Wide open right here on the curl route. Boy, not many white shirts in the vicinity of number 3, Deion Butler. But keep in mind the quarterback was scrambling and rolling to his left. Had no chance to see him.
Tonight's kick chart is brought to you by Allstate. And Kevin Kelly comes on to attempt a 41-yard field goal from the far hash mark. You see his numbers. In this distance right here, 2 of 3. Ball is down, and he got it. So with 11-10 left in the third quarter, our new score, Penn State 17 and Ohio State 10 as Kelly nails this field goal right here. They score on the opening drive, second half. to 10. Penn State increases that lead to a touchdown. Santonio Holmes and Ted Ginn Jr. back in a dual safety as the kickoff from Josh Houston. Oh, not Josh Houston. Kevin Kelly, beg your pardon. We're going to go back and look, if we can, at Josh Houston because that short kickoff had a bearing on that drive, Bob. And I still think he slipped on his plant foot when he kicked it off. It's going to come down to the 12-yard line, and that's Ginn. Brings it to the near sideline, and he gets hemmed in quickly, short of the 30-yard line. And let's take a look at that kickoff. Watch his plant foot and see if he slips. He does, and as a result, we were wondering why it was a high short spinner. And this played a very important role as far as Penn State getting good field position, and they wind up with a field goal. Pittman gets the handoff, bounces it to the outside, 30, 35, and he's still going as a flag comes in late.
There is a flag on the play.
Ron, you see Antonio Pittman, the explosiveness. I think he's a key potential player here in the second half for Ohio State.
Face mask against the defense.
Incidental 5-yard face mask, number 1 on the defense. 5 yards from the end of the run. First down.
A chance to see just incidental face mask right here at the end of this run.
You see, he took his hand off of it immediately, so it's a good call, making it incidental. By the way, Alex Boone, number 75, has now moved over to right tackle, replacing the injured Kirk Barton. Penn State shows blitz. And they do come off the corner and hit behind the line of scrimmage and knocked down by Dan Connor is Troy Smith. Paxson also was there. It's the second time they've gotten to him, and Kozlesny was coming off the other side on a blitz.
Wow, not many times you have protection breakdowns on bubble screens right here, but Scott Paxson just comes free. And number 40, Dan Connor, the linebacker from the backside, they wanted to go to the bubble screen to Ted Ginn. For some reason, just turned Paxson loose right up the middle.
Loss of about 5 of the play. Second down and 15. And they hand it off to Ginn. Little end around. And the defense standing right there waiting like they had been in the huddle. So Midas is outside. And we got another flag that has come down. We got another face mask.
I think it may be face mask on Zamitis, number 21, right on the sidelines over there. But Ohio State trying to get Ted Ginn the football any way they can right here. receiver, the old Steve Spurrier Gator reverse. We're going to see the incidental face mask. Boy, just barely brushed that thing. Not an automatic first down, but they do get the down over. We look at Ted Kinn tonight, 0 touches receiving. That was his second touch carrying the football. Don't try too hard, though, to get him the football. You do have some other weapons on that offense. You can win it without him touching the ball.
2nd and 9, quick pass to the near sideline. Got that one complete to Santonio Holmes. And let's check in quickly with Reese Davis.
All right, Ron, Taco Bell studio update once again. Check in on UCLA and Cal. They are running up and down the field on 3rd and goal. Bruins down by 13, and Maurice Drew is in one more time. He's keeping the Bruins in. It is 27-21 at the half.
All righty, thanks, Reese. Our situation, a big 3rd down for Ohio State. The Buckeyes trailing by 17-10. They need to take the ball to the 46-yard line of the Lions. Flag goes down, and the snap goes beyond the quarterback, Smith. And now this is going to be an interesting call. The defensive end on the top of your screen had jumped off sides, but he is pointing at the tackle saying he had moved. So who's going to win this court case, Bob Davie?
Well, I think we'll get a great chance to look at this and hopefully solve it.
Offside, defense, number 55. 5 yards for the previous spot. Better results in the first down.
See, that's Matthew Rice, and Joe's saying the same thing, that the man did move. Watch the lineman.
Well, I think Joe was wrong on that one. It looked to me that Matt Rice just clearly jumped across the line of scrimmage.
Huge first down for Ohio State. They have it at the 44. Penn State shows blitz. They come off the right corner. And inside in that tackle play, there's not going to be any gain by Antonio Pittman. It's going to be 2nd down and 10.
Penn State with back-to-back penalties on defense with the incidental face mask and the offsides. Joe still wanted to get a little piece. Again, we look at the offsides. I mean, that's clearly offsides right there.
Yeah.
Matthew Rice, Doug Danish, the left tackle, did not flinch even.
Well, we were also looking to see if anybody on the offensive line, and you sure didn't see a Buckeye move. Looked to me like it was a good call. Now this time, situation is different. Everybody's pointing at Danish, and he did move.
False start, offense, number 50. 5 yards. The down remains 2nd.
So now the crowd's happy. It is Happy Valley again.
But Tamba Hali, the left defensive end. And that time, the right offensive tackle did jump.
Two tight ends in the ball game for Ohio State. Well, this crowd is really making some noise now. Smith going to go long, and he's got a man at the 5-yard line, and it's overthrown, and that is Santonio Holmes, who had single coverage and had gotten behind the cornerback on the right side, who is Anwar Phillips.
And that is a good matchup out there, man-to-man. Ball probably should have been thrown a little bit earlier. But Ohio State in the first half did not throw the football down the field. That time they had an opportunity.
So now it is 3rd down. Bob, they need to take it down to the 34-yard line if they're going to keep this drive going. And obviously they are out of field goal range. The ball just resting inside the 50-yard line. Again, the crowd trying to influence what Ohio State is able to do. Smith drops, 3-step drop, got it, incomplete. Ball is tipped by one of the linebackers, and then the collision. So although the receiver is glitching a little bit, I don't think it matters with the ball having been tipped.
They tried to go to Roy Hall, number 8. Penn State in 3 deep coverage. There's going to be a safety right in the middle of the field, and Calvin Lowry playing center field almost picked that one as Troy Smith just trying to make a play, throwing at the big Roy Hall.
A.J. Trapasso in to kick. Richard, freshman. And you see Calvin Lowry back in a deep single safety. Sparrow kick, not going to turn over. Calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 13-yard line. So let's take a timeout. Penn State continues to lead it by 7 following a 36-yard punt. We'll be right back.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by MasterCard. Log on to ESPN.com, keyword MasterCard for the Fan Addict Showdown. And Saturn.
The statue of Joe Paterno here on campus as we have 8:17 to play in the third quarter. His Nittany Lions on top by a touchdown.
One thing, Joe has seen it all, hasn't he? And you mentioned about his office.
Straight ahead with the running play here. The Hunt only a short game. Go ahead, complete your thought.
But we go back and he has seen it all. And you talk about great facilities. I mean, we've been all over the country this year during college football. These football facilities here at Penn State are as fine as any in the country. He's actually embarrassed when he takes you into his office because it's so big. He has a shower in there he's never used. He has a kitchen in there he's never used. Really, the office is for recruiting, and he's a little bit embarrassed because it is just so big.
If it were a condo account, he could sell it for a lot, I'll tell you that. 7 figures anyway.
You can see almost 800 coaches at James Williams in Division 1A since he came here. As that pass is zipped complete to Jordan Norwood, and he is impressive for a guy that is hardly 170 pounds, Bob.
And his dad was secondary coach here at Penn State, but if we could go back to Joe Paterno just one more time. The library here is the Paterno Library on campus. He said you can't have a great university unless you have a great library. And I put about $5 million into that library himself. So
that's the reason that a lot of folks love him up in this part of the world. On first down, draw play. Hunt bounces it to the outside. Flag goes down. You can erase this game of 7 because it came from the referee behind the play, and it's going to be offensive holding Nittany Lions.
This one is going to be on Tyler Reed, number 74, the right offensive guard. It's too bad that you're an offensive lineman. This is how you get recognition sometime. But Tyler Reed right here, the offensive guard. Right there. Going against Marcus Green. That's a tough matchup.
It is. It's really a tough one. And of course, one of the things that Ohio State does very well every year, and that is those tackles not only protect the linebackers, they can blow up a play in a hurry. Screen pass, and Snow caught the ball that was almost intercepted. And Bob, I looked up to see if an Ohio player was headed down toward the goal line, but the Buckeyes miss out on the interception, and watch what happens.
Bobby Carpenter comes clean. A great play by Brandon Snow catching that football. See Malcolm Jenkins, the true freshman corner, makes the tackle. Penn State dodged a bullet right there, Ron. That could have been a huge turnover.
Could have been. And Carpenter again, using a great athletic ability, quickness, and speed, was in on the quarterback to force him to throw the ball quicker than he wanted to. Second down and 13, and a quick pass into the boundary, and that play is going to go for negative yardage as Justin King is the man who made the catch, but he'll be dropped for a loss. And let's check in again back at the studio. Reese.
Ron, I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's the altitude or something, or well, it could be altitude because Texas A&M's lower than dirt. I mean, Colorado is just killing them. Joel Klatt to Quinn Sepnewski. A&M not really participating in that highlight. 41-6, Colorado.
Wow.
Well, you're not going to be happy at College Station over that, and particularly on a day when Texas belts Oklahoma.
I mean, you know, sometimes you know that, Bob.
And A&M into overtime last week to beat the Baylor Bears. Who had Kyle Field?
By the way, who won today? Going to go all the way on top of this one. It just outthrows everybody. Baylor won a conference game. Been a while.
How about that? Guy Morris, excellent job at Baylor, just hanging in there. But right now, how about this Ohio State defense taking control? And look up now, but it's Ted Ginn and Santonio Holmes back, about to receive this punt.
And put an asterisk on that series by Carpenter's name because of the influence that he had, and he had a very large one when he pressured the quarterback. Holmes and Ginn back in a dual safety. As we mentioned in the first half, most colleges don't do this, but they want to make sure with two such talented guys that they got one of those talented fellows handling the football. This is going to go to Ginn. 35, tries to turn the corner. And I mean, that is an excellent job of coverage. You can't cover it any better, particularly against a guy like Ginn who can fly. 48 yards on the kick and 5 on the return. So we'll take a timeout. Burrell is the man on special teams who made the tackle. Still, Penn State leads by a touchdown. What you're looking at down on the sideline, it's the ADT National Championship Trophy. And that will go to the team that wins in the Rose Bowl this January the 4th. That's the site of this year's championship game. Right now, Ohio State and Penn State, the only two undefeated teams in conference play in the Big Ten. And it's hard to believe that at this juncture of the season, Bob, that we're only going to have one team in the Big Ten who is undefeated in conference play.
Exactly. And if you're Ohio State and Ohio State fan, the good news, they lost to Texas early enough they can rebound. The bad news, they got their hands full right here tonight in Happy Valley.
Morning say grace over right now. That pass thrown complete, San Antonio Holmes. And Santonio is going to be stopped by Puslesny. And from where they're spotting him down, it's a gain of about 9 yards.
Ron, I'm going to go back and clean up a point I made about Ted Ginn. And don't try too hard to get him the football if you're Jim Tressel. Everyone knows this kid's a great player. But right now, he's more of a kick returner than he is a natural wide receiver or a running back. Don't get your offense out of sync by trying too hard. You got a bunch of other weapons out there, starting with San Antonio Holmes.
Straight ahead with the running play. Pittman is going to be just mugged by Puslesny, and they're not going to have the first down. It'll be third down. And actually, they lost about a half yard on the play from where the ball's spotted.
And Paul Puslesny right here. Bam. That is a great form tackle. This kid played at the same high school as Tony Dorsey. He was a tailback in high school himself.
Well, here's a comparison. Carpenter, Hawk, and Schlegel with 11 tackles. Puslesny alone with 11 tackles. Here's the situation. Third down. A yard and a half is what they need. And from the shotgun, here's Smith. Option play. He'll turn it up, and he will have the first down. And he'll pick it up as he takes it down to the 49 of Penn State. And again, Puslesny with a tackle.
And Puslesny that time, Ron, had an opportunity, but he got juked a little bit by Troy Smith for the first down. Get a chance on the replay right here. He gets outside instead of playing him inside out. Gave Troy Smith the cutback right there for the first down.
Hawk watching from the sideline as the offense trying to do what Penn State did on their opening drive second half, and that is put points on the board. Pass thrown complete to the 44-yard line. And Reese Davis, let's check back with you.
All right, Ron, National League playoffs, Astros and the Braves remains a 3-2 score in the 7th. Braves batting. Don't forget, we've got the Cardinals and the Padres. Cardinals going for the sweep, 11 o'clock Eastern time here on ESPN. And then Division Series baseball tomorrow. Braves and Astros game 4 at 1 Eastern. If necessary, the Cards and the Padres will follow at 4.
Okay, Reese, our situation, 17-10. Penn State leads it. We're about to hit 2.5 minutes left in this third quarter. Good look at Troy Smith, the junior out of Cleveland, Glenville High School. Fake the option, sets to throw. Throws it out of the backfield. That's Pittman on the safety valve. Has the first down. And he will take it, let's see, they say he stepped out of bounds at the 35. Tyrell Sales on the stop. It's a gain of 8.
And that was great patience by Troy Smith. Initially wants to go down the field to Ted Ginn, but Lowry, the safety's right in the middle. He goes to the safety valve right there. The Pittman, here we look again. It looks like it's open, but watch the safety show up right there. Yep. That ball would have been intercepted. Great read right there by Troy Smith.
So it's first down. Penn State shows blitz. Pitch back comes to Pittman on the option. They'll bump him out of bounds after a short gain, and that's Calvin Lowry defensively.
Ohio State in a bit of an unbalanced line. That's number 50. Doug Dadish right there actually lining up at tight end, trying to get that perimeter, and Tamba Ali blocks. So they've actually put a tackle at tight end some, and they're trying to run the football right here.
Well, good job by Lowry. You could see him break down and make sure that he did not have a move put on him, using the sideline as like one of his own players and making the tackle. Second down, 8 yards to go. They need to take it to the 25. Smith sets deep in the pocket. Protection breaks down. He's just going to throw this one away. Check down on the sideline with Holly Rowe. Holly?
Well, guys, I had a chance to catch up earlier this week with Troy Smith. He told me that he thought in the first couple of games of the season, he really struggled. He said it was up and down. And trying to get back to his form from last season has been a challenge. But he said just in the last game against Iowa, it started to slow down for him. What he means by that is he's seeing the defense. The game is a little slower. He's able to play faster at quarterback. And guys, you're seeing it on this drive.
Well, a lot of coaches say that window becomes larger for quarterbacks, and that's what's happening for him. That pass should have been caught by Andy, and it'll go incomplete right off his fingertips, and he had a teammate diving for it down the field, but he couldn't make the stab either.
And I'll tell you what, Ted Ginn should have had the football on this one. Justin King, the true freshman, up there bumping right. Ted Ginn comes open. Wow, that's two talented number 7s locked up. A little bit of frustration by Teddy Ginn right there.
This is going to be a distance field goal job. It's going to be a 50 yards.
Ryan Scott Paxson, number 41.
Josh Houston, his longest, Bob, was 47 yards against Iowa. Here's the kick, and he's got plenty of distance on this one, and he is no good, wide right. And plenty of distance, and missed it to the right.
Now it's back in the hands of this Ohio State defense, Ron, that last series really dominated this Penn State offense. Set up excellent field position. Ohio State not able to take advantage of it.
Well, now it's up to those talented linebackers and the entire defensive unit of the Buckeyes to put a stop on the Nittany Lions, because the clock is under 2 minutes left in this third quarter. What has been a very fast-moving third. Hawk steps up into the hole, makes the tackle on Tony Hunt just as soon as he got the ball. On Monday night, join Al Michaels and John Madden in San Diego as the Chargers take on the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger, now 17-1 as a Steelers starting quarterback, leads Pittsburgh against LaDainian Tomlinson and the Chargers. Monday Night Football at 9 Eastern on ABC.
I hope people appreciate just how good these two defensive football teams are. These are really, really outstanding defensive teams.
Talk about well prepared. There have been a number of times tonight on both sides of the ball, but it looks as though they have been in the huddle. Here, Michael Robinson is going to hold on to the ball and doesn't go for much of anything. Schlegel is there to make the stop on him. In fact, he's going to lose a yard, and it will be third down.
Just like Ohio State's defense did Vince Young as the game went on, you're not going to run the football. They're going to make Michael Robinson throw that football.
Something we watched yesterday and looking at the video, how in the early going, the first two series by Texas, how they changed up their defense and said just what you just stated, Bob. You're not going to run us. We're going to make you throw the football. Third down, they need to take it out to the 43. They rush 3, actually 4. They drop back in coverage, and the ball is thrown complete, but short of the first down to Derek Williams. Or Butler, beg your pardon, number 3.
Great pass protection right there, but Ashton Yabodi able to get Dion Butler down well short of the first down. You have to punt this football right now if you're Penn State. Ron, one thing in this game, Penn State's coverage games have been outstanding.
You really have.
Kickoff and punt coverage.
Yep. So that is the end of the third quarter. So we are back 17-10 as we head to the final 15 minutes of this one. You can see the crowd really enjoying this. In fact, in a little bit, we'll tell you exactly what the crowd is tonight. It's close to a record. There it is, 109,839. Second largest crowd ever here at Beaver Stadium. Capanos to punt it away. And the left footer, not real long. It's going to now take an Ohio State bounce. Somebody better touch that one, and they do at the 38-yard line. So let's take a look at game track, and this is what has happened so far in this ball game tonight. Derek Williams scoring the first touchdown of the evening, and then Michael Robinson on quite a run where he went right between two of those heralded linebackers to score. Troy Smith with the interception. Lowry takes it back down to the one. But then Smith fighting his way to get it into the end zone. And with 14 minutes and 50 seconds left in this ball game, our score remains Penn State by 7. Smith, boy, he is with a determined run right there. Close to 9 yards on that play. Dan Connor comes over to make the tackle.
Excellent job by Rob Sims, number 77. You're going to watch right here, the left offensive guard. He's going to pull around on this quarterback wrap, get a great block on Puslesny right here. Puslesny fights off and really holds it to just a 9-yard gain. That's a big, talented guy right there.
Yep, he really is very, very mobile. Pittman, right side, good opening, nice blocking there between Mangold and T.J. Downing. Puslesny will make the stop, but it's a first down.
And I get the feeling Antonio Pittman, Santonio Holmes, the two guys for Ohio State that can break one and take one in this game. I'd like to see 25 get his hands on that football a little bit more. He looks explosive to me.
Well, we talked about off the top of the telecast, he is very explosive, and you better know where he is at all times. You see 14 rushes tonight for 52 yards. First down Buckeyes just across midfield. Nittany Lions show blitz, and here they come, but they pick it up nicely, and the pass thrown long and overthrown at the 1-yard line. Santonio Holmes, the intended receiver, and Anwar Phillips that time was not only up to the task, he was behind him.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ohio State didn't throw it down the field in the first half, but they are throwing it down the field in the second half. And Santonio Holmes has had some foot problems. Actually had that foot in a boot last week in practice at times over the open date. Didn't look like he cut it loose right there on that one.
Well, look at the numbers, Bob. They've thrown to him 8 times. He has 3 receptions for 20 yards. And no touches and no touchdowns. The shotgun, here's the option. He pitches it back to Pittman. Boy, nice job defensively, and they're going to knock him down after about a 4, maybe a 5-yard gain. Matthew Rice is the guy who made the tackle. Also, Dan Connor was out there.
Take a look at Tom Bradley, Penn State's defensive coordinator. Played here, stayed here, coached here, and I'll tell you what, he has recruited a bunch of these players on this football team. He's done a great job rebuilding this Penn State defense.
He was hilarious when we talked to him yesterday. He said, you give a lot of suggestions to Joe, and he said, yes. We said, are many of them taken and used? He said, no. He said, Joe lets you know whether he's going to use something or not. snifter into the backfield. That ball thrown way too hard at close range to Holmes. He didn't have a prayer of catching that one.
And Troy Smith knows it. I mean, he threw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball at about 10 yards right there. And boy, a great opportunity for Penn State, for Ohio State after getting that ball with great field position.
Fourth time that Ohio State would have had to punt tonight. Capasso kicks a very high spiral. Lowry runs away from it and gets a good bounce. A lucky bounce for Penn State that the Buckeyes were not able to down it inside the 5. 43 yards in the kick. Let's take a timeout.
Time for your chance to win one of 100 Philips HD TVs with DirecTV service for a year. Log on to 100yardblitz.com to enter. The code word is State College.
State College, tonight's code word. Log on to 100yardblitz.com for your chance to win. Jim Tressel, Youngstown, Ohio. We'll get Bob to talk more about that in just a moment. As this running play, wow, Derek Williams, they just shut it down immediately, and it's Bobby Carpenter who is there. Youngstown means a lot to you.
My alma mater, Jim Tressel won 4 national titles at Youngstown State. Of course, that's easy because they've always had great athletes at Youngstown and out-athletes.
How far back does that go, Bob?
Long
Having
time.
the great athletes, does it?
But also won national title at Ohio State. And I think the best thing he does a tremendous job in the state of Ohio with the high school coaches. They have great respect for him because he is a lifer in the state of Ohio. And there's a bunch of good football players, by the way, in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Both of these head coaches have done that. Their relationships with the high school coaches. And look at this defense right here. As they are going to stop the play about 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Marcus Green there initially. Reese Davis has checked back with you.
Ron, LSU's had a scrap with Vanderbilt, but the Tigers are starting to pull away in this thing. Joseph Adai going through the Commodore defense. Marcus Russell would add a touchdown pass later, and LSU cruising comfortably right now, 27-6.
Okay, 27-6, the Vanderbilt Commodores. We have documented it. The head coach at Vanderbilt, Bobby Johnson.
Undefeated, if not for Middle Tennessee going in there and beating them.
Until you're exactly right.
Low snap. Here comes pressure on Robinson. He's just going to have to ad-lib his way as far as he can upfield. Puts the head down and is not going to have the first down. I don't believe Schlegel is the man who came up to hit him. They say first down. They did give it to him. It's a gain of 13 yards on the play.
Again, you talk about defining football plays. Low snap from center. I mean, Michael Robinson. It's all about Michael Robinson right here. Converting the first down for Penn State. That was huge. Obviously, huge that that holding penalty wasn't called on Mike Kudla, number 57, Andrew Richardson, the offensive tackle. That was flat takedown right there. But Ron, how about Michael Robinson? Low snap from center. And I do believe this was spotted short of the first down. And you said, and I thought accurately said, initially they were short of the first down.
I'm not so sure, Bob, if we check out the replay again, if it's not obscured by players, I think his foot went out of bounds before he got there. I guess that's what I was trying to judge it by.
And it should be easy to see because they started possession on the 20. They obviously have to get to the 30 for it to be a first down. Yeah, that foot is out of bounds right there.
Yeah. Penn State soccer tomorrow, doubleheader. The number 2 ranked women's soccer team in Noon against Iowa.
Obvious, right there, right foot out of bounds.
And that's at about, what, the 27-yard line, isn't it? Something like that.
That is reviewable where they spot this football. Plenty of time. Let's see if they re-spot this and take it from the 29 back to what I thought approximately was about the 27-yard line.
Not going to be a review, but they did not give them a first down. So Ohio State probably is not going to get real upset about maybe losing a couple of yards on the play because they're going to get it back on the punt.
Maybe the missed call on the holding penalty may turn out to be not significant.
Here's the punt. Driving spiral. His knee was down when he made the catch, so obviously could not advance it. Now our moment in time brought to you by Miller High Life. 2001, Joe Paterno looking for number 324 career victory against Ohio State. Freshman Zach Mills led Penn State back from a 27-9 deficit, rushing and passing for a total of 418 and 3 touchdowns. But it all came down to a blocked field goal attempt, giving the Nittany Lions a 29-27 win, and Joe Pa got victory number 324. And at the time, just surpassing Bear Bryant. Hit just as he recocked the ball by Jay Alford, and Troy Smith, very, very fortunate, Bob, not to have turned over the football.
Jay Alford wears number 13. He was a quarterback in high school, and fortunate, you are right, that he did not cough up that football. But that's a big old high school quarterback right there wearing number 13.
You know, and I read someplace that his number up until last year was 87, but he wanted to change it this year. You see the whiteout. If you just joined us, that's 20,000 students who are wearing white T-shirts tonight, and the theme is white out the Buckeyes. Second down and 17. Smith drills the ball, has it complete to Ginn, tries to take it back into a non-traffic area, and Dan Connor will see to it he does not take it any farther.
Good safe throw right there by Troy Smith to Ted Ginn. Gets him back into a 3rd and 9 situation. Good job by Justin King, the true freshman, of just turning that football back inside to the pursuing Penn State defenders.
No sense in gambling on a guy that could run right by you and cost you 7 points. And you're right, he did an outstanding job. Third down, they need to take it out to the 44-yard line. Pressure coming off the corner, going to run it. 35 at the 40. In fact, he will not get the 40. Dan Connor is there to make the tackle, and Ohio State will have to punt the football back.
These two defenses have just taken over this football game. Which defense can force the turnover? Because I don't think either offense can go the length of the field line with these defensive teams right now dominating this football game.
Yeah, if you like good defense, this is a fun one for you. A.J. Trapasso to kick it away. Good long spiral. Lowry's going to not be able to take this one, and in fact, I don't know, the wind got that one or what, but it's going to go out of bounds at the 24-yard line, so not quite as far as I thought he would get. But we have a 17-10 score. 8:45 left in our ball game. Let's take a break.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Polaroid and in part by Nissan, who reminds you to shift the way you move through the world.
So welcome back. It is the second largest crowd ever to see a football game here at this university. That sea of white is really impressive. And in fact, I think it's over 20,000. We were talking during the timeout, Bob. Robinson, play action, going to roll the pocket, holds onto it, and not going to gain very much. And I go back to the point that Bob made earlier, and that is two defenses that are not only talented, how well schooled they are for each other in this football game.
And how hard it is to call plays if you're either offensive coordinator. Penn State right now, you'd love to say, let's line up and run the football, but Ohio State comes in ranked #1 in rushing defense in the country. Penn State, not a great offensive line. Do you throw it to these young receivers in their first true pressure situation? I put the ball in my quarterback's hands, and either win it or lose it.
Robinson gets the pass away, caught by Norwood. And Norwood, they'll give him credit to about the 30.5-yard line, so it's short. It'll be third down.
And we talk about those freshman wide receivers. This is a heck of a catch right here. Sets up a 3rd down and 4. Michael Robinson, an excellent option quarterback right here.
Well, it's Norwood and Derek Williams out to the left, which would be the top of your screen. And that's the side that the quarterback is going to carry it, and he's not going to have the first down. Robinson is looking for the world as though he was going to get it, and A.J. Hawk, as he has done many times in his career, comes up to foil what looked like was a first down.
Yeah, if you're going to run option, you have to get those linebackers blocked, and difficult with just a straight down the line option as A.J. Hawk shows his closing speed. Wow. A.J. Hawk in the spring run ran a 4.440 for the NFL scouts in the spring workout. Nobody talking about him as a potential first-round draft choice until he ran that 4.4. He showed it right there.
Campanos in the ball game to kick it away. And again, that dual safety back for Ohio State. Here's the boot. And wobbly high kick. Bearcats called for it, and nothing on the return as a result at the 31. 36 yards on the kick. Reese Davis, what do you got for us?
Got more from Cal and UCLA, Ron. They've been going back and forth all night. UCLA with a 28-27 lead, and Justin Forsett will turn the corner for the Bears. It would set up a field goal for Cal. They have a 2-point lead late in the third.
Well, that is, as the game day crew today forecasted, a typical Pac-10 shootout.
That's a long way from right here because those points are scarce with these two defenses tonight.
Penn State leads it by 7. You see how much time we have left of the ball game, under 6.5. And Smith has to tuck the ball and run, and he's covered up with 5 blue jerseys as Matthew Rice leads the way, and Tamba Hali also coming in to help out.
And really, an even football game, other than the interception Troy Smith threw to Calvin Lowry that gave Penn State really a touchdown because they took possession. As we look at Michael Robinson over there, looking for some suggestions on what do we do if we get that ball back if you're Penn State's offense.
Crowd trying to help out. From the shotgun, second down. They need to take it to the 42. Here comes pressure. Ball is held on to. Now trying to run away, and he's sacked at the 25 by guess who? Paul Puslesny. He has been everywhere and done a little bit of everything tonight. Ron Franklin, along with Bob Davie and Holly Rowe, coming to you from a record-setting crowd here in State College, Pennsylvania, Beaver Stadium. Clock runs. We're about to see 5 minutes showing on the clock, and it's third down Ohio State. And as we had just mentioned, this ball needs to be taken out to the 42-yard line, or they're going to have to punt it back to the Nittany Lions. Rolls the pocket, now drills it in. It is incomplete. Ginn could not hold on. Anwar Phillips was there to put the lumber on it.
Anwar Phillips put a lick on Ted Ginn right now, right there. And Penn State's offense, now a chance to get this football back right now. And use clock and also control field position. But a big play by Paul Puslesny on that second down sack. That was huge.
This one's not even close to a spiral, and it just kind of takes a knuckleball bounce, and they'll touch it dead at the 36-yard line. Tonight, Major League Baseball Division Series continues on ESPN at 11 Eastern as Brian Giles and the Padres play host to Albert Pujols and the Cardinals in Game 3 of their National League Division Series. Cardinals lead it 2-0 and look for a sweep tonight. MLB Division Series presented by Budweiser on ESPN tonight.
Tony Hunt, number 26, with the lead blocker, the fullback, Brandon Snow in the game.
Look at that number. 14 tackles on Puslesny tonight, Bob. Draw play, Hunt hit behind the line of scrimmage. That is Schlegel. You hear a few of the crowd a little anxious there. They'd like to see something, what they think is a little more creative. But, folks, let me tell you something. That these two defenses, as good as they are, the minute you get cute, you lose the ball game. Isn't that right?
Exactly right. And the bottom line, if nothing else, use some clock, use some field position, and let your defense win this football game. If you're Penn State, don't let your offense lose this football game or tie this football game for you.
Keep one thing in mind. We're about to go into 4 minutes. They pick up 1 first down. They're almost in a position to run it out. Robinson drills this ball, throws it short. That was Derek Williams, who was the closest man to it. It's time now for SportsCenter 30 at 30.
All right, Ron, you mentioned the Padres and the Cardinals coming up in just a little bit. The Astros and the Braves are playing Houston now with a 7-2 lead as they try to take a 2-1 lead on Atlanta. Game 4 on ESPN on Sunday. In the World Golf Championships, American Express Golf Championships, Tiger is now 2 shots off the lead. John Daly has the lead. SportsCenter, 2 a.m. Eastern Time, ESPN News now.
All right, Reese, thanks very much. Our situation, clock shows 3 minutes, 56 seconds left to play. Penn State 17, Ohio State 10. It's 3rd down, and they need to take it to the 46. Quarterback draw. Robinson is only going to get back to the 35-yard line. And boy, I don't understand this. There are boos in this crowd as to what Penn State is doing. And they're in a prime position to punt it away and let their defense do what needs to be done. They got a 7-point lead.
And credit this Ohio State defense has kept this football game within striking distance for Ohio State.
Take a timeout. We'll be right back. So 3 minutes, 48 seconds left in this one. And you see the back of Ted Ginn Jr. And rather than having a partner back there, they only have 1 deep receiver. So this might mean, Bob, as you suggested during the timeout, they might be coming after the punter.
They are going to come after this. And Roy Hall, number 8, a wide receiver lined up inside on this punt block team.
Well, here's the boot, and it's a line drive, and fair catch was called for, and it got by. Look at this error right here. The ball is going to be touched in at the 11-yard line. 54 yards in the kick, and Ginn either misjudged it or simply couldn't do anything with it.
Fortunately, he did not touch that football, but it did cost them 15 yards of field position right there, and the whiteout crowd is right in the face of this Ohio State offense right now.
So let's see what the Buckeyes can come up with offensively. They've got 3 minutes and 37 seconds to work with. They're down a touchdown, and they are about to scrimmage 89 yards away.
You have the true freshman corner, Justin King, in the football game.
Troy Smith from the shotgun. Steps up. Here come flags all over the place. This is going to be offensive holding. And if you think that field position was bad a moment ago, they're going to scrimmage now from about the 5.5-yard line following the penalty.
And they just tackled Tamba Hali, the left defensive end, number 91 from Penn State.
During the play, holding, offense number 25. Half the distance to the goal line. Repeat, first down.
Well, Antonio Pittman is the man who is flagged.
Right here, we're going to see Tamba Hali at the top, right there. I mean, that's just a flat takedown. Tough assignment, though.
Yeah.
Sliding that protection and putting Antonio Pittman on Tamba Hali, their best defensive line.
So look at this new setting right here. This is the worst field position that Ohio State has had the entire evening as they go for their own 5.5-yard line. It's Ted Ginn in motion to the bottom of your screen. Smith steps up, going to have to be careful here. Is hit from behind and tackled for a half-yard loss by Tamba Hali.
Tamba Hali and also Jay Alford, number 13. Great job by Troy Smith of just staying alive.
And also holding on to the football. Boy, that student section now is really up and making a gigantic amount of noise. see the sea of white, the whiteout. Well, they are 2 minutes and 28 seconds away from the whiteout of the Buckeyes here tonight. Anthony Gonzalez in motion to the top of your screen, and now the timeout is called by Troy Smith. That means, as you can hear the PA announcer, they only have one timeout remaining.
And Ron, a lot of people this weekend ask us, is Penn State back? I know there's a lot of time left in this football game, but I want to say this. We watched that tape closely of Ohio State and Texas. Texas right now, the #2 team in the country. Ohio State and Texas was a dead-even football game, in my opinion. Ohio State could have beaten Texas. Penn State is dead even with Ohio State, maybe a little bit better. I think Penn State is back. These are two talented football teams, but just on a national level, both these teams can compete nationally with anyone.
So if you just joined us, the situation, it is going to be second down, and Ohio State scrimmaging from their own 5-yard line. And listen to the noise with that student section right behind the offense. They're going to take it out to the 21-yard line to pick up the first down. Smith from the shotgun drops back into his own end zone. Here comes pressure now, and he steps up and drills it. It is complete again at the 27, and he's going to have the first down. What a gigantic play. And the clock is stopped momentarily at 2:10.
And I'll tell you what, Troy Smith is a resilient guy. He bounces back. I mean, he is a mentally tough guy, and that was huge under desperate circumstances right there.
27 yards in the pass play. First down, the most important thing for Buckeye faithful. Now they go from their own 31. Drops back to throw again. Looking, going over the middle, got it complete, and that's Santonio Holmes, and two of his biggest weapons have been there to help them move the chains a little bit farther on the last 2 plays. That's good for 21 yards. So 48 yards in 2 plays.
And excellent protection that time. They kept Ryan Hamby, the tight end, in Ron, and blocked Tamba Hawley. And Ohio State, when this thing looked like it was over, just said it, 40-some yards in 2 plays.
Yep. Clock is running, 1:35 left. Throws it out in the flat, that is Roy Hall. And Hall gets out of bounds to stop the clock at the 45-yard line at the 1:28 mark. Kozlesny with still another tackle.
What a great job by Roy Hall, who made a great catch against Texas, getting himself out of bounds right here and stopping that clock on that 4-yard gain. But this guy's about 240 pounds, plays some tight end, but right here just getting to the sideline right there was a key stoppage of the clock.
Plenty of time left on the play clock. You see they still got 10 seconds to snap it. Gonzalez in motion. Here comes pressure. Smith is hit and sacked. The ball is loose, and it's recovered by Ohio State. Tamba Hawley with the hit. The signs in the stand. We are back. The play is being reviewed. Bob, in the replay I saw, I thought it came out when he was hit. What would they possibly be questioning?
But not a bad replay as significant as this play is. But keep an eye on Ryan Hamby. Tamba Hawley, Joe Paterno said last week, the best defensive lineman I've had. That ball is out. That's a recovery by Scott Paxson.
That ball's out there.
Ball was loose immediately on contact. But Tamba Hawley played defensive tackle the last 2 years. He's back at home at defensive end.
Well, we'll see what they, here's the announcement.
Ball was fumbled, recovered by Penn State. First down.
You talk about all that speed Penn State recruited and all those freshman receivers, but this game came down to that Penn State defense, and that's been the constant over the last several years is Tom Bradley's defense here at Penn State.
1:21 remaining. Michael Robinson will take a knee. Ohio State has just taken their final timeout. That's the last time they can start the clock, or stop the clock, I should say. And now here's a look at our Polaroid image of the game. Derek Williams on his touchdown run. And Ohio State found out the hard way just how fast this young man is. A Polaroid image of the game. And that's an image that the Nittany Lion faithful will hold in their minds for some time.
That is a great Polaroid image. I don't even know if I can do this, but I'm going to put my vote for Tamba Hali on that sack on Troy Smith. Can we have another Polaroid image? This defense deserves some kind of image tonight, doesn't it?
I'll tell you, between Tamba Hali and Pez Leslie, wow. And they're not the only ones. The young man who made the recovery. Paxson, he has been all over the place tonight as well. They'll take a knee now. And as we mentioned, Ohio State can no longer stop the clock. And now things getting a little chippy here at the end. And you see that the cooler heads prevailing. And what they're saying is, hey, Levi Brown, we're about to win this football game. We certainly don't need to do anything foolish right now.
And you talk about big wins. Let's go back 3 weeks ago to Northwestern in Evanston. Penn 4th and 15. They convert, go on and win that football game. Now they're 6-0 heading to Ann Arbor next week.
Clock is down to 36, 35. They snap it, and he will take a knee. And now we look to see game clock and play clock. They don't have to run another play. Play clock is not started, and the celebration is beginning down in the field. What a scene. The Nittany Lions with their celebration, and some of the cheering squad coming on the field, and police very quickly getting out to say, hey, we can't have all 108,000 out here on the field right now. The clock has run out. Lots of congratulations going around. Michael Robinson, and let's go down to the field in Holly Rowe with a victorious head coach Joe Pye.
Coach Paterno, what does it mean for this team and for you to be 6-0?
Anytime you get 6-0, it's good. We have a good football team. Ohio State, I thought there were 2 real good football teams out there today. We just had to have one more score, but we got a long way to go.
People want to know if Penn State is back. What would you say?
Oh, I don't know whether we ever left. Honestly, we had a good team last year. We just couldn't make a couple of plays.
You did make the plays tonight, though. What was the difference for you on offense?
We hustled and we played smart football, didn't turn it over. Little things that win games, big games, we did.
All right, congratulations. Thank you, Coach. Ron.
Hey, Holly.
Okay, Holly.
Tell Joe to go have a glass of wine and enjoy this one. He is 6-0. He's the favorite going into Ann Arbor next week, and Penn State now enters the national picture.
Well, the situation also, they sit all alone as far as on top in the Big Ten, the only undefeated team in conference play in the Big Ten. But Joe also knows that whatever celebrating he does is not going to last very long because Michigan comes up 1 week from today. And he probably thinks there are not enough hours in this coming week to get ready for that one.
And they call this place Happy Valley. That's an understatement right now. This football program has waited a long time to enjoy a night like this.
Final score, Penn State 17 and Ohio State 10. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Coming up next, College Game Day scoreboard. Over on ESPN News, it is post-game extra. So the celebration is beginning, and I'm sure will go on long into the night here in this portion of Pennsylvania. For Bob Davie, Holly Rowe, and our entire crew, I'm Ron Franklin. Good night, everybody, from State College, PA.